Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to continue to take a look at the scenario where everything was perfect with the purple team. So yeah, the first part of this thing is already like done. You can see some expansion happened, the line team came here, a new country formed here. And we was talking about stuff and it was about how some area got divided up. And it happened because like the blue team got so strong because Red Archangels is protecting them. And they also ally together. So yeah, that's tough. But now we're actually going to see that Green Belarus leaves the circles. The reason of this it's because they really aren't interested in it anymore. Like they want to world wars, they're already a powerful country and they leave. The gold team for now accepts that and there are no consequences. Now I'm going to see how Sea from Siberia. So yeah, this is what we're saying. It's not really tough thing. See that Russia is getting pretty divided, and also see from Siberia got long and expanded a lot. We're going to see these countries also expand a bit, get some land. So yeah, we can actually see that they're expanding, and now the pink country and Domor country they have a rivalry now, a small rivalry. Siphon Siberia could beat them both, and yeah. But now we're going to talk about Korea, and so we're going to talk about America, because the Americas are actually pretty undiscovered, and Korea has done another tough discovery, and they got the why. They discovered them, and they colonized them. The Dutch didn't have time in this timeline to do that. Yeah, totally going to see that the Korean colony is pretty much unstable. Like Korea expanded way too fast, and now they're suffering the consequences of a full world war and being unstable. And this leads them to them having to cede some land. Here, this land should be given to Mexico, but what happens is that a terrorist organization actually takes control this place, which are where the troops stationed here, the rebel out from Korea, become a terrorist organization, and yeah, most people don't like this country. But what's going to happen peacefully is that Car- Carol, Caroline, I guess now, yeah, they're going to get some states pretty peacefully, and there are a bit weird borders actually. I'm going to fix them. Here, here we go. Yeah, this is what the final trade looks like. And we can see that Caroline is becoming the beacon of democracy in the Americas. Like they're an actual good country. And yeah, they don't like colonialism. So let's take a look at the South Americas. Because actually, there is a country that will still colonize. And people will let them do that because they're the best colonizer in the world. You can see that Hibernia has arrived on the continent, which is interesting. And they're still the full power, like they can colonize. And yeah, their colony is pretty huge for a starting point. I'm going to take the Falkland Islands. And yeah, this is all of the things they get. Then we'll see that Brazil will expand. So yeah, this is how the Brazilians are doing. They're also anti-colonialist. And yeah, they don't really like that much that Hibernia as a colony, but they have to let them because they're good colonizers. They're friends with the African Union, which is the probably the strongest anti-colonialist power in the world, and they have a big bloc of African nations. Yeah, now let's take a look at. They had the clash. They had the clash with the border with Hibernia. Yeah, it won't go. They had border clash. They had a border dispute. They had some skirmishes after expanding. Since they didn't assimilate well that land, Hibernia is basically going to walk in, and instead of actually taking all of this land, they're going to free it. We see this long brown country get released, and yeah, Chile after this will have to release the south of the country. Here we go, this is another unstable land that had to go, and yeah, now let's take a look at Colombia. Yes, it's more like Central. Yeah, let's take a look at the final borders of South America. These are the final borders, and they're absolutely horrific. But yeah, this is what they had to do. And this might cause some problems later on. But yeah, we can see that the Americas are fully colonized now. Let's take a look at here. And yeah, we see that the Philippines are united and they have an overseas colonial empire. Guess who's doing that now? Yeah, China will just somehow manage to recover because the leader after the bad leader, authoritarian one, we got this one which is actually like competent and makes economic reforms and makes China have colonized empire, like they get overseas territories, and all of this is under China now. This is the start of the Chinese colonial empire, I guess. We're going to see over the years what this brings to, and it will bring to. Okay, first we can see that the South Indian Union got land first, and now let's go here. Yes, China has now a colonial empire. It's pretty far away, but they managed to control it because they control the waters around them. Yeah, can see that actually this Indonesian Federation, because they're federation now, they're like the only country that is like the African Union, and it's pretty unstable. It might collapse soon, but for now, the Indonesian Federation is a power that should be able to rival China, but they probably couldn't. But they still are alive, and yeah, let's just say that this is what we can see. Competent leaders making China rise again, and Korea, of course, lost land, and while they do that, they will invade these countries and they will conquer all of Hokkaido, and then they'll make an exploration campaign. And ooh, that's interesting. They form a small colony in Siberia. The Sino-Korean rivalry is back once again. Yeah, these two cannot be out because they're both strong countries and they've been for a lot of time. So yeah, they quite cannot stop beefing. But now we're going to take a look at Galicia because they're going to. Oh, yeah, the African Union won't like that. They haven't invited Brown Somalia to the alliance, but they're thinking about doing that. But it's too late. They're absolutely angry. They're crashing out at Galicia for doing that. Like, How dare you do that? And yeah, this leads the final split. The African Union and Hibernia will move away from the circles, and yeah, the Cold War might start soon. We'll see here that this unstable territory up from Norway will declare its independence, and they will be known as Lapland. It will be known as Lapland. Yeah. Norway is pretty much modern Norway now. Finland is the only rival of Sweden. Finland is a peaceful rival, while Sweden fought two world wars and won both of them. And yeah, speaking of Sweden, they actually invade this country, and they won't be alone doing that. Warsaw will basically take over all of Poland. Green Belarus, interesting, will join, even though they left the circles. They're on their own side, but they still want to invade. Yeah, we can see that. Can't really see purple. The purple Estonians joining in. See this happen. This will be the final borders, which are pretty. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's this is what's happening. Warsaw is now a very strong country. Now what are the Dutch? Yeah, the Dutch don't like the Romans, but the fascist party is banned. So what about socialism? Yay! It spreads actually in Hibernia. It starts in Hibernia, and the Dutch become socialist too. And socialism isn't that this fascism. Rome doesn't see it as a threat. The circles don't see it as a threat. And yeah, now we're going to go here to the blue team. They've been dormant for a while after winning World War One because they really didn't have much stuff to do. But now they're back in action. They're invading both of these countries and they managed to conquer both of them. And blue team is beating Arabia now. Ooh, that's interesting. Actually, something might happen between them because meanwhile Persia has seen some instabilities and had to release some land out to the red and blue teams, and some land basically all of. Yeah, it's a pretty. They didn't expect this instability, and they think a foreign power is supporting this. But yeah, now we'll see actually that gold Ukraine is doing something. They're invading the Red Caucasians. It is time. It is time to connect their house. Yeah, Caucasia doesn't have a chance, especially after the Hittites join in to help. So do the Persians, even though they left the circles. There still are good ties with them, and guess who else will try to join to restore their former empire that they had? Yes, the green team. It will do pretty good. Yeah, Caucasians are getting jumped. Strongest countries, of course, called Ukraine. Probably the strongest country in the world is Hibernia right now because of all the things that they have. Like gold Ukraine is strong, but they don't have colonies. They don't have an overseas colony empire. Rome kinda is, but it's not. It's stronger, maybe in the top 10, but not the strongest, definitely. Here we can see that Caucasia has unfortunately fallen, and this is the peace treaty that we're going to take. These are, wait, I invaded Greece accidentally. Yeah, we can see that these are the final voters. Yeah, the green team gets a puppet state over here. That stuff. They might restore their empire. Persia also expanded, the Lavender team expanded. The gold team now controls almost all of the Black Sea coast. And they're strong. Like really strong. So we almost see they're releasing lands. Tanzania is actually going to save these lands from Hibernia just to make the African Union more chill, I guess. See, this light orange country gets released. It's not that much. But yeah, some of the colonies are drifting away from Hibernia. Not all of them though, most of them stay. But yeah, this is Hibernians. And you will say, oh, they're actually stopping colonizing. That's tough. You will see them hitting more and more circles that are still doing this. At this point, the African Union officially allied. And they form the squares. Yes, the square alliance gets created. And it's an anti-colonialist bloc. And the Dutch immediately join. The countries allied, the African countries allied with the African Union join in. Brazil will join in. Brown Chile will join in. It's Brown Argentina more like. See, Colombia joining in. Carolina joining in. Mexico joining in. See a few countries joining. And also like Korea, which now is controlling this step because they just expanded their colony and they joined the circles, like to make it official. This is basically the start of Cold War. So it's only China is going to join the circles. These two are allied with each other for now. You know what? I think we can end the episode here. It was a pretty fun episode, pretty chill episode. Next episode, we will advance to the early Cold War era. We talk about World War II today and start of the Cold War. Yeah, we didn't talk about the purple team because they were basically rebuilding right now. And they really didn't want to invade other countries yet. But they're planning to do stuff. Don't worry. They're still the main character of this series. Yeah. And see ya.